Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. What I want to talk about today is metal roofing. Many of you know I'm building this 8x12 shed, and this time I decided to go with metal roofing, and I just want to share a few thoughts. If you read comments online, some people say it's the best thing in the world, and other people really don't like it. Let me share my experience. So this is what I'm talking about it. You could get it at Home Depot, elsewhere I'm sure. Right, 10 foot corrugated galvanized steel utility garage roofing panel. You can see it's about $18. That's what it looks like. And to build an 8x12 with a peak roof, I bought them 10 foot, cut them in the center, and I needed 7 panels, so it was fairly reasonable from a cost point of view. Though when one is figuring cost, you have to add these things. These go between the panels and the support. Right, they kind of slip right in there. And they also go between the panels and the roof cap. What they do is they keep bugs out. If you don't use that, you can do something like go buy with foam or, great stuff type expanding foam or whatever. So you do have to figure on buying these things, and you got to figure on the cap. The cap is the thing in the center that connects two panels. If you have a single incline roof, you don't need that. I went with the double incline, so to speak, because they recommend having 3 on 12 pitch, and given that it's 8 foot, that would have been, the front would have had to be 2 foot higher than the back. And instead of doing that, I just made the center 1 foot higher than the back, and that gave me a little more than 1 foot, like 16 inches higher than the back, which gave me the pitch I needed to get the 3 on 12. So remember, you got to buy this, you got to buy the cap, and you got to buy these screws. Easy enough to install the stuff once it's cut to size, placed. The bottom supports are there, right? You just, screw it on down. Those are self-tapping screws, and everything works great. 2 shortcomings on this. These panels are thin, as in you can't walk around up there without denting it. You can't crawl around up there without denting it. You literally have to put pieces of plywood down, kneel on them, move a piece, put your weight on the front piece, move the back piece, and so forth. If you kneel on that, if you press your palm down on that, it dents easy. It dents very easy. I'm sure you could go underneath and bang it back out. That would help. I used stringers, right? If you put it down on plywood or flake board, if you put it directly down on that, it would be supported underneath by that. But then the cost, right? You got to start figuring on the cost of it. The other bad thing about it is, once again, related to how thin it is. When you cut it, the edge is crazy sharp, and it will cut you back. And I'm not kidding about that, as you can see. So, all in all, what do I think of it? I like the idea that it's a permanent solution. Once one gets it up there and you install it correctly, it's done. You don't have to worry about it, right? It's not going to leak. Those galvanized panels will last, 30 years, 40 years. They'll last a long, long time. Assuming, once again, you don't damage them when you put up there and knock all the galvanize off. That part I like. I like the idea that they go on fairly quickly, right? It doesn't take long at all to drive those self-tapping screws and get everything into place. Problems you're going to run into if you're trying to redo a shed that already had a roof on it. If it's not square and true, remember, those panels are all corrugated, and you will have trouble getting them to match and seat and so forth, right? So you gotta pay a lot of attention to how you're placing them to make sure you're true. You really don't want to get shifted, because then you'll have, you know, an extra couple of inches in the front by the time you run the length, right? And you might not have enough in the back to get coverage when you put the cap on it. So all of that stuff is really important. So what do I think? Would I use them again? I really can't build any more sheds. The carport I want to have put up more or less has corrugated roofing on it. I don't know if it's going to be thicker than this stuff or not. But would I use it again? I don't know. Probably the next time I want to try the more what do I call it, rubberized roofing. I think I'd like to try that stuff next. I don't know if it could be left out or if one has to put a coating on top of it. I don't know if the polymer material can take year after year after year of sun without cracking and letting water in. So, but I think I'd like to try that stuff next. And I do have some used roofing, that rubberized roofing, that I would like to try. On the positives, it's quick, it's permanent, it's, you know, fairly easy to work with, it's easy to cut with aviation snips, you know, all those are positives. On the minuses, it is crazy thin. You really can't do too much to it without denting it. Whether you're transporting it, you're installing it, or crawling on top of it for some reason, if you got to clean gutters or whatever. Like for a standard house, that metallized roofing, just with as thin as this stuff is from Home Depot, it just wouldn't work out. You really can't go up there even to clean the gutters. You'll dent it all up. So it is thin, very thin. Anyway, I want to thank you all for taking a moment to watch this review. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.